Reactions. What is going on, all my DC movie maniacs out there? That's right. It's your boy Preston, PhatSamuraiGuy, back again with another reaction video for you guys today. And joining me for this rare reaction, a collab video we got going on here. That's right. You know him, you love him. That's right. Award-winning author, Kung Fu Santa himself, Ric Meyers, representing the soups. Wait, I gotta see. We gotta blow up the shirt now. We gotta blow up the shirt.
I wear my heart and my Superman on my sleeve.
There you go.
And on my belt.
And it's right. There's the belt, son.
And on my oops. And on my here we go. Hold on. And on my watch.
What? That's what I'm talking about. That's awesome.
What I'm talking about.
That's a fan. That's a true, real fan right there.
Superman, I can honestly say Superman saved my life.
Oh, how so?
I was born of a schizophrenic mother and raised by a bipolar stepmother. Superman saved my life because the comics that I found, because this is 1955, 56.
Yeah.
The one place, there was no Marvel yet, so the one place I could escape was at the corner store, and all these issues showing me that there was a better way, that there was more than just mental illness surrounding me. It gave me hope. Right. And so did science fiction, of course, and so did detectives and all the rest. But Superman was one of the things that saved my life.
How cool is that? How cool is that? And not just reading the comics and you becoming a fan and all that, you were actually involved.
That's right. And more importantly, not only did Superman save my life, Clark Kent saved my life. Let me show you.
Who are you?
I'm Superman now. And that was my problem. Yes, I was involved as well. I was involved several different ways.
Well, let's before we get into the reaction here of the trailer, let's throw some images on here. Go ahead and talk about this, Rick.
Well, that's one thing. When I went to work for Starlog magazine, the one main thing in the 1 year that I worked at Starlog, I was their Superman reporter. I was there. They assigned me the movie Superman. And so I talked to everybody before, during, and after, but especially during, because for whatever reason, Richard Donner saw in his wisdom to invite me over to the sets at Pinewood Studios in England for a month.
Wow.
I was on the set for a month, and the day before the movie premiered in New York, guess where I was?
Fortress of Solitude.
No, close.
No.
I was at Christopher Reeve's New York apartment.
Oh, wow.
Hanging out with Christopher Reeve because we made friends on the set because this was, of course, his first huge movie. And he was trying to find his way. And there's lots of stories about the other actors on the set saying, he was nervous and he was pretentious and all this stuff, but he was just trying to survive. But he gravitated to me because I understood where he was coming from, and I didn't have this attitude about him. So we palled around. We palled around all over Pinewood.
Oh, cool. You talk about this I got on the screen now.
Well, this is the letter. This is the one remnant I had. I, like an idiot, was a professional on the set of Superman. And even though I was friends with, especially with the makeup guy and much to the photographer, the set photographer, the production photographer, amazing man, wonderful guy. He's done all the British stuff. He's been on the Bond stuff. And we got very friendly too. We were so friendly that it just killed me that I was professional, because I should have said, take a picture of me with Chris, take a picture of me with Gene Hackman, take a picture of me with, and he was amazed because Gene Hackman talked to me when he didn't have to. And he came up to me and said, what did you say to him? And I said, I was just asking him about, what I asked him was about that I loved Gene Hackman. I loved all his work. And at Lex Luthor's lair, which was predominantly the scene they were filming when I was on the set.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor had a piano, and on the piano, and you see it slightly in the movie, there are all these little framed pictures on the piano, and they're all pictures of famous villains throughout history, including the part that Gene Hackman played in Francis Ford Coppola's The Conversation.
Oh, what?
So there's a picture of him as that character on the piano.
Oh wow!
And
I
I
gotta go.
love
I gotta rewind it. I gotta
I
rewind the movie.
love that. I don't think it's in the movie, but it might have been, but
Oh,
it was there.
okay,
But you can
okay.
check it. And
Great
and
movie.
I'm yeah, one I loved it. I
Yeah,
saw it like
yeah,
4 or 5 times.
yeah,
And I'm on the set, and there's across the I'm on the one side of the piano. Gene
yeah,
Hackman is over on the other side in the huge set preparing for the scene. But I'm just so I looked at the picture and I looked at him and I just started I was smiling. I was just going, and he looked up at me and he was sort of like react, and I went and I pointed at the picture,
yeah.
and he went and he came walking over
How
and
cool.
said, I said I love that movie, and we started talking about his process
Yeah, yeah,
because William Shatner had taught me that when I interview people, it should not be about me in any way. I shouldn't try to defend myself or say, "Hey, I'm great too." I He says it's all. Remember, when you're interviewing something, it's about them. It's not about you. So Shatner taught me that.
right.
So when I would talk to Hackman, I was just going, "Tell me more about you, please," and he did. And then Bob Penn, the photographer, walks up to me and says, "What did you say to him? He doesn't talk to anybody." But the thing, anyway, that letter is what Richard Donner sent me via Starlog, basically thanking me for the wonderful article. And you showed the cover story, that article I wrote, which is
Hmm.
it's still my favorite thing that I did at Starlog.
And
And
this.
this, when I went back to work for DC, when I was working on some Batman projects with the amazing editor Denny O'Neil, and also quickly, yeah, does it have to be about me? Well, these are memories I've had. I also worked on the American Gladiators tie-in comic book. Hey, Rick, what are you talking about? There is no amazing American Gladiators tie-in comic. Yes, I know. Because but that's a completely different story, not about
Yeah,
Superman. But when I went to work with Denny on these Batman projects, Denny asked me to do this page in the 60th anniversary of Batman detective issue comic,
yeah.
which is what I wrote here. But I mentioned at the end of it the same thing that I said to everybody involved in Superman over at because I was saying, let me do a story on Superman
Gotcha.
and why no one recognizes him when he takes off his glasses. And they go, "Oh no, we don't want to get into that." Blah 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 blah. It would have been wonderful. And every time I see another Superman project, I investigate to see whether they've taken care of that. It'll never be realistic. It'll never have a true verisimilitude until they take care of that. And
Mm,
nobody does. Nobody in this movie does either.
okay.
Nobody does. But what I'm
Hmm.
saying, and I say in that little page
Right.
that just ask me, I'll tell you, at the bottom, now for a nickel, I'll tell you a way to get around the glasses of Superman problem. And
Yeah.
no one ever did. And no one still, even though I keep offering it. Do you want to know? I'll
Sure.
tell you. And it's
Yeah.
another thing that I think they're missing in this movie as well, which I think the Christopher Reeve movie touched on it and did it
Right.
better than it. But then again, except for Otis, the Christopher Reeve Superman has done it better than anybody else ever. If it
He's still
wasn't
my
for
favorite. He's still my
Well,
favorite
he's still
too.
my favorite. And of course, the other
Yeah.
thing that I discovered on that set was that Ned Beatty as Otis was not in the original production.
That's
He
right.
was
You're
a
telling me
last
that.
he was a
Yeah.
last minute addition. And had they
Right.
kept the original Hunchman, which was played by Peter Boyle as a sort of a nod and a wink to Hackman and Boyle being in Young Frankenstein together, because basically Boyle was playing a hulking
Wow.
monosyllabic
Right.
henchman. Had they kept it, it would have been a perfect movie.
Right. Right.
There would not have been those stupid little comedic things that they tagged on for Otis. And
Right.
again, all over the Pinewood sets, Donner had put up these gigantic banners saying verisimilitude with an image of Superman. And
Yeah.
it would have been, I told Donner about the glasses situation too. And he went, But be that as it may, I don't know if he would have taken care of it. But
Right.
the
Right. Right.
situation is something, but they did take care of the main thing people have to remember, and apparently nobody's remembering this. Hopefully Tim Gunn did, but by the looks of these trailers, it looks like he hasn't. The
Yeah.
one thing everyone seems to
Hmm.
forget because he looks like a human, he is not a human.
Right.
He
right, right.
is, and I've written and I write science fiction. And I
Right.
always say, whenever you have something different about it, because science fiction, Star Trek will teach you, there are so many humanoid aliens out there, but that seems to be in entertainment a way to avoid the issue. And the issue is that once you do not, even Doctor Who avoids the issue. He's not a human. But
Right.
Kal-El, Clark Kent, is not human. So
He's Kryptonian.
his
Yeah.
chromosomes, his makeup may be entirely incompatible with us.
Right.
And what I say he did was, in order to differentiate, I wanted a scene for some reason. I don't know how we would do this, but if I did a comic or if I did my own version of this, I would have had a scene with Lois Lane or Jimmy Olsen or another reporter from the Daily Planet interviewing, dozens and dozens of people to ask them what Superman looks like. And what would happen is that every single person would describe someone different.
Oh.
Because what happens is that what people are doing is they're not looking at Clark Kent. They're looking at his glasses. They're focusing on his glasses. And if Lois knew Clark Kent was Superman, she could interview everybody at the Daily Planet and say, describe Clark for me. And they'd all describe a slightly different person. Because humans cannot truly take him in. They think they're taking him in. But everybody sees him slightly differently. And that would have been not only a neat way to take care of it, that didn't have to dwell on anybody, because you don't have to know what he looks like, but also would make him real for the first time in his history, because that explains this.
Copy that. Interesting. But before we actually get into the trailer here, did you want to discuss the controversy surrounding it first or after?
No. I want to do it after, because again, it would be great if you could just play every single trailer now, because you could see the issue that I've been having all along, and the issue that the issue is driven home by this one, because each trailer is different.
Gotcha. Well, I have not seen this new one yet. We're going to check out the final trailer right now. Let's start the ruckus. Let's do it.
Superman. The most powerful being on planet Earth. We finally meet.
We're at the fortress.
Now, as planned, I'll destroy you. And of course, that reporter you always do interviews with. Who raised you as a child? I'll kill them too.
Hearing that music.
No crypto, though. Notice, no crypto.
I see that. Interesting. We got a kaiju.
No matter what you do to me, Luther, your plans won't work.
Wrap it up.
Good luck with that.
Oh, there's some crypto. You knocked out somebody's teeth.
Yep. Right into the camera.
Make a move, Big Blue.
Guy Gardner. There we go.
I didn't hear what he said, though. You can move people, something like that.
I think it says something like, you need to move, Big Blue.
They chose him. Let them die.
I might be wrong about that, but
They chose him. Let them die.
I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
oh, Lord have mercy.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
But we know what Frank Jang's doing. Shout out to Frank.
Oh, yeah. He's already got the tickets.
Wow.
the
Well, let's go
IMAX.
back and let's watch it again. I'll turn the volume down so we can do commentary here. Well, Rick, thoughts?
The problem throughout this thing, including this scene, look at all that. The building's falling over, but the building behind it has already fallen over, has already collapsed. Yes, keep it moving. Don't stop it. Keep it going. I do not want to dwell on this.
Okay.
Yes. However, so he saves this woman and a bunch of other by holding up the second building. What happened to the rubble on the first building? How many other people was hurt and killed by that? Unless they have a scene of him running around
and saving everybody,
and doing the same thing that has happened in all the Superman movies. They don't show, except for the Christopher Reeve one, where they show him go back and fix everything. If they do that again this time, now there's another thing. Lex Luthor has been turned into what? A homicidal, mass murdering maniac with no feelings. This thing goes by his head. He doesn't even react. That, I got news for you folks, not human. Now, if they say he's a Kryptonian, that's one thing. But the fact that he's not going to dodge something, he's just going to be Mr. Cold. And also through the rest of the thing, he's going, I'm going to kill everybody. I'm going to kill everybody. They've chosen him. Let them die. Lex Luthor is no longer human. He is a murdering maniac. And the fact that he has to deal with him directly is like, and also the other thing that happens is, guess what? People are going to look at Luthor and they're going to say, that seems to be a satire of someone. Who could it be? And that's not going to help the box office much.
Right.
And meanwhile, the rest of this thing, it's just all wild. Everybody's acting like they're in a Superman movie, not like they're in the real world. They're, Lotus, let's go. What was the one that I just, let them die. That's where Luthor just said, they chose him, let them all die. And it's like, whoa. And here, and are they talking? No, they're not talking. They're quipping. They're quipping at each other. Everybody's reacting like, Lois Lane is doing that ship and she's acting like it's every day. Nobody's, keep going. Do not stop this thing. I do not want this stopped. Go ahead.
But is it because the quips is because it's usually James Gunn has quips in his movies though?
Well, whatever. But the thing is, he's doing a Superman movie now.
Okay.
And what I want for all my movies, because that's the difference. Guardians of the Galaxy is Alien, completely different tone. Peacemaker, completely different tone. But this is Superman.
Right.
And Superman has a history. Now, I've already mentioned, I put this out on my Facebook and everything. There's a series of Superman Tales, which is done by an AI company, where they're taking the Christopher Reeve Superman and they're doing these little shorts.
Oh, I've seen some of them. You sent me those. Those are good. Right. Those are really good.
Because they're human. Even though he's an alien, he's talking about the difference. He's talking about how he feels. He's talking about what life is different for him because he's not a human and because how much he loves his family. But this thing all seems to be the word for this that I say, and I hope it's not. Of course, I'm going to see it. And I hope it's great because I love Superman.
I hope it's great too.
But it looks and I know schizophrenia. Having been born of a schizophrenic mother, I know, and having lived for 4 years with a manic depressive bipolar, I know schizophrenia. And this is, look, everybody's crazy in this movie. Everybody is not human. They're all acting at the beck and call of their writer director. Why are they saying it? Why are they doing it? Because Gunn said so. Not because it would make any sense in any kind of identifiable world. And I got news for pretty much everybody. Superman works because he's a Superman in a world of men and women. In other words, it's his difference. And one of the things that I latched onto, of course, being a kid who was saved by Superman, Superman's attitude is because he was Superman, he didn't have to freak out. Because he's an alien, he could look at humans from a distance. He could interpret behavior as an outsider. And everything that I've seen so far in this movie, especially the Lois Lane interview scene, where Superman starts yelling at her in self-defensiveness. It's like, I didn't do anything wrong. Why don't these people understand it? I'm like going, holy, I got news for you, man. You're not my Superman. I don't know who you think you are, but, why are you yelling? You're Superman.
Yeah.
Just sort of like, do the job and also effort. And Corin Sweat, I hope the best for him. But from the very first, I hope from the very first trailer, he has shown little or no emotion. Now, maybe that's his alien thing. Maybe that's their idea of showing his lack of, alien whatever. I mean, lack of human genetics.
Yeah.
But I depend on Superman. I mean, again, All-Star Superman, which again, this is supposed to be based on, just the very cover of that issue, and you look at Superman's expression, that's what I want him to be like. I think that's one of the reasons it's one of the most successful Superman, because he reflects this objective attitude and also this kindness and this sympathy and this care. And this Superman seems to be, just like everybody else in the fucking movie, nuts. And I'm like going, am I going to answer him? No, I'm going to quip. I'm going to say something funny. Isn't that funny? Hope it holds together. But each one of these trailers makes me worried more and more, and also the rumors of the reactions to the screening.
Yeah, this is the controversy I wanted to bring up. I came across that, and
if I let
screening, this supposedly, if it's real or not, supposedly the test screening was bad, and so now they're like, all right, we got to take a lot of the comedy out, and so who knows? Maybe it's supposed to be even more quips, which is kind of crazy.
Well, again, the tone of everything from the very first trailer, showing how flawed Superman is, and the thing is, I love Superman. I also love Krypto. And when they decided to make Krypto a crazy dog, it's like,
well,
it's the mark. I will, as a therapist, my father was in the mental health field.
Yeah.
And so I grew up around a lot of people, and there's a lot of interpretations trying to help. And the behavior so far that I see here is that James Gunn, and you can see James Gunn from, even his logos. James Gunn wants to be Superman. He doesn't want Superman to be Superman. He wants to be Superman. He wants to be the main point, not Superman. So he either consciously or unconsciously or subconsciously, he's turning Superman into a mental weakling. And
hopefully not.
Hopefully not. So far, there's all the evidence in these trailers is just and I'm not surprised that if it's true that the screening went poorly, because again, quip, funny, take nothing seriously, nothing is real, nothing serious, and it's like, and again, the audience, even the youngest to the oldest Superman fan, you just say Superman, and it's kind of like, there's a guy who can help us. There's a guy who can save us. Let's turn him into a farce.
Well, Ric's wearing the shirt. He's got the buckle. He's got the watch. There you go. I got the tattoo, baby.
Yeah.
We love us some soups. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that these trailers, are just, they don't show us the whole meat on the bones. Hopefully we get a date.
What's today's date?
Today is, oh God, my work schedule. I don't know what day it is.
Hold on.
I'm all over the place.
It's the 12th.
June? Yes.
We'll know in less than a month.
Okay. All right. Fingers crossed. I hope it's good. We want to come out, singing this film's praises, baby. Yeah. But it is nice for me in terms of, me, I love to see more action. So I enjoyed seeing more action in this trailer. But again, Ric's here. We all want a good story as well.
I want to come out. I want to come out exhilarated. I want to come out thrilled.
Right. Yeah. So hopefully we get that.
Having seen a Superman movie.
There you go. I like it. All you badasses watching right now, if you enjoyed this kind of content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Old Samurai Guy. Click on the link below so you can follow Rick on the socials. That's right. And let us know. Give us your honest opinion for this final trailer. Were you super excited? You're like, this is amazing. You can't wait. Or you're skeptical, or it's dog shit. Let us know in the comments below. Me and Rick, we're going to read all of them. But Rick, I think the Superman movie we all really want to see is Superman versus Godzilla. Let's go.
Nope. I want Superman, as usual, I want Superman to be a kung fu guy. So he would,
there you go.
Yeah, I would love for them I would love to have a Godzilla Superman movie, but not versus. Not versus each other. They work together.
They team up? Sure. Hell, I'm all for that too.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Take care.